Hi, and welcome. My name is Amy Weber. I am a child therapist and parent coach and co founder of Speak, Learn, and Play here in Brooklyn. This month, we are talking all about preparation. And today, specifically, I want to talk about social preparation. I want to start by naming something that many parents know in their bones. Social situations can be complicated for kids, not just in the don't forget to say hello kind of complicated way. More like who will be there? What are the rules? Are the rules spoken? Are they invisible rules? How long is this going to last? What do I do if it's too loud? What if no one talks to me? What if everyone talks to me? What if the game changes? What if I want to leave? What if I say the wrong thing? What if I don't know how to join in? What if somebody thinks I'm weird? What if I am weird? What if being weird is actually fine, but middle school has not yet received that memo? Social life asks a lot from neurodivergent kids. And yet, so often the advice kids get before a social event is something like, just be friendly, which is incredibly sweet and also not a plan. Be friendly is not entirely useless, but it is extremely vague. It is like telling someone, just do math or just be relaxed at the airport. Thank you, but we may need a little more structure here. Today's webinar is called Social Prep Without Social Pressure, helping neurodivergent kids feel ready for playdates, groups, and gatherings. And the core message is this: social success does not come from pushing kids to just be friendly. It comes from helping them understand the setting, the expectations, escape routes, repair options, and ways to connect that feel authentic. That last word really matters, authentic, because social preparation should help a child feel safer being themselves, not skilled at pretending to be someone else. And that is our key teaching point today. Social preparation should help a child feel safer being themselves, not more skilled at pretending to be someone else. We do not want to create a flawless little social actor who can pass as typical by suppressing every instinct, interest, need, movement, and feeling. We want to help a child enter a social situation with more information, more tools, more support, and a clearer sense of what connection can look like for them. So let's start with why social events can be exhausting or confusing. For many neurodivergent kids, social situations are full of invisible demands. There may be sensory demands. A birthday party may have music, balloons, yelling, crowded rooms, strong food smells, chaotic transitions from cake to games to presents to everyone gather over here, which sounds simple unless your nervous system is already filing a formal complaint. There may be cognitive demands. Kids have to track what is happening, what comes next, what the group is doing, what the rules are, and how to join or leave an activity. There may be communication demands. They may need to greet people, answer questions, ask to play, negotiate turns, respond to teasing, explain themselves, or figure out exactly what someone meant by a particular look or tone or joke. And there may be emotional demands. They may feel anxious, excluded, embarrassed, disappointed, overstimulated, or unsure whether they are doing it right, whatever that looks like. And there may be relational demands. A family gathering is not just a room full of people. It is a room full of expectations. Hug grandma, say thank you, answer uncle someone's questions about school, be polite when a cousin takes your toy. Don't hide under the table, even though, honestly, the table may be making a strong case. All of that is a lot. And when we say, just go play, we may be missing how much work just go play actually requires. For some kids, play is easy and natural. And for others, play is a complex social negotiation with unclear rules, shifting expectations, sensory unpredictability, and emotional risk. So, if your child struggles with play dates, birthday parties, school events, camps, clubs, or family gatherings, it does not mean that they are rude or antisocial or even not trying. It may mean the social situation is asking more of them than we realize. This is where preparation helps. But we need to make an important distinction between social preparation and social performance. Social preparation says, let's help you understand what is coming and what you can do. Social performance says, let's help you look normal. Social preparation supports connection. Social performance pressures compliance. Social preparation makes room for the child's needs, but social performance asks the child to hide those needs so other people feel comfortable. This distinction matters deeply because neurodivergent kids have been corrected, redirected, or criticized around social behavior so often that they begin to believe social success can only mean don't be too much, don't be different, don't talk about your interests too long, don't move that way, don't react that way, don't need what you need. None of that is connection. That is actually masking. Now, of course, kids do need support learning social expectations. They do need help understanding other people's perspectives. They do need guidance around kindness, boundaries, repair, flexibility, and safety. But the goal is not to erase who they are. The goal is to help them connect in ways that are genuine, respectful, and possible. A child does not have to play with everyone to have a successful social experience. A child does not have to enjoy the entire party. A child does not have to make eye contact with every adult, tolerate every hug, join every game, or leave saying, "That was magnificent, mother. I experienced pure belonging and ate a cupcake." Sometimes success is one real conversation, or staying for 30 minutes, or asking for a break before exploding. Sometimes success is repairing after an awkward moment. Sometimes success is discovering I liked the building activity, but the group game was too much. All of that information matters. So let's talk about how we can prepare kids for social events without turning them into social pressure cookers. The first practical tool is creating a social preview. A social preview gives your child a clear picture of what to expect before the event. Before a birthday party, play date, family gathering, school event, camp, or club, you might talk through 3 simple things. Who will be there? What will happen? How long will it last? For example, tomorrow we're going to Maya's birthday party. Maya will be there and probably kids from her class. It's at a gymnastics place. There will be free play, then pizza, then cake. We'll stay for about an hour and a half. Or after school today, Eli is coming over for a play date. You can play in the basement, build Lego, or play outside. The play date is going to last about 1 hour. I'll help if you get stuck. Or on Saturday, we're going to Aunt Lisa's house. There will be adults and cousins there. People may ask you questions. You can say hello, answer 1 or 2 questions, and then take a break in the den. The purpose is not to script every single second. It is to reduce the amount of unknown social information your child has to process in real time. For some kids, it also helps to include some sensory information. It might be loud. There may be music. The lights may be bright. There might be a lot of people talking at once. You can bring headphones. You can sit near me if you need to. Sensory needs affect social capacity. This is huge. Sometimes a child is not struggling socially because they don't know how to connect. They're struggling socially because their body is overwhelmed. A child who can play beautifully one-on-one in a quiet room may completely fall apart at a loud party. A child who seems rude at a family gathering may actually be overloaded by noise, smells, touch, and unpredictable conversation. A child who refuses to join the group game may be managing a room that feels too bright, too chaotic, too fast, and too much. So when we prepare socially, we also need to prepare sensorially. We have to ask what might feel too loud, bright, crowded, scratchy, boring, confusing, intense. And then what can help? That might look like headphones, quiet break, a familiar object or fidget, a snack, a job, a signal, a shorter stay, a plan for where to go when it becomes too much. And that brings us to the break plan. Every social event needs an escape route, not because we expect disaster, but because knowing there is a way out often helps kids stay in. A break plan might sound like, if you need a break, you can use our signal. If it gets too loud, we'll step outside for 2 minutes. If you feel overwhelmed, come sit next to me. If you want to leave the game, you can say, I'm taking a break. If you need help, tap my arm twice. Break plans are especially useful because they reduce the need for kids to explain themselves when they are already stressed. Many kids cannot calmly say, "Excuse me, I am approaching sensory overload and would appreciate brief regulation interval." They may instead yell, hide, run away, insult someone, or suddenly become extremely interested in the bathroom. A signal gives them a way to ask for help without needing a full speech. The second tool is planning a role. This is one of my favorites, especially for kids who feel awkward entering unstructured social situations. Sometimes go play is too vague, but giving the child a role gives your child a way in. At a family gathering, the child might be the photographer, the snack assistant, the game chooser, the dog helper, the cousin who teaches the younger kids how to play a card game, or the person who passes out napkins. At a play date, the child might be the builder, map maker, rule explainer, obstacle course designer, or the person who chooses the first game. At a club or in a group, a child might have a specific job, handing out materials, setting up pieces, keeping score, feeding the class pet, organizing supplies, helping with cleanup. A role can often lower social uncertainty. Instead of, how do I belong in this group? The child has a starting point. It also helps the adults see the child's strengths. Some kids connect more easily side by side than face to face. Some connect through shared tasks, some connect through interests, some connect through helping, some connect through building, creating, sorting, organizing, teaching. All of those roles and skills matter. Connection does not have to look like small talk in a circle. The third tool is practicing one or two useful scripts. We do not want an entire social script for the whole event. That's going to feel robotic and pressured. Just one or two phrases that help the child enter, exit, repair, or ask for help. For joining, can I play? What are you building? Can I have a turn? Do you want to play this with me? If they're needing a break, I'm taking a break. I need help. I'll be back in a minute. It's too loud for me. For setting a boundary, that might be no thanks. I don't want to play that. Please stop. I need space. For repair, it might be sorry, that came out wrong, or I didn't mean to hurt your feelings, or can we try again? These scripts are not about making the child sound perfect. They are about giving the child language when social moments get tricky. Because awkward moments are going to happen. They happen for all of us. They happen for children, they happen for adults, they happen for people who appear socially polished but lie awake at night remembering that one weird thing they said in 2009. The question is not, how do we prevent every awkward moment? The question is, how do we help kids recover without shame? And that brings us to one of our parenting scripts. Awkward moments happen, we can repair them. This is such a powerful message. Many kids think that if a social moment goes badly, it's over. They are bad, the friendship is ruined, everyone hates them, they should move to a remote island and live among the emotionally predictable goats. Repair teaches something different. Repair says a hard moment is not the end of the relationship. A child can interrupt and then try again. They can say something too bluntly and then soften it. They can get overwhelmed and come back. They can miss a cue and learn from it. They can have conflict and still belong. Supporting kids after awkward moments means we do not pounce immediately with a lecture. If the child is embarrassed or upset, we start with regulation. Then we get curious. What happened from your point of view? What did you notice? What could we try next time? What do you think they felt? What would repair look like? We want to avoid shame heavy language like, that was rude. Why would you say that? You embarrassed me. We need to learn how to act. Even when we need to address the behavior, shame makes learning so much harder. Instead, we can say, that moment got tricky. I think your words landed differently than you meant. Let's figure out how to repair it. You were trying to join and it came out as taking over. You got overwhelmed and yelled. Let's make a plan for next time. These phrases preserve dignity while still teaching. Now, let's talk about the phrase be polite. Parents say this for a good reason. We want our kids to be kind, respectful, and considerate. But be polite is not specific enough for most kids. What does polite mean? Does it mean to say hello, answer questions, make eye contact, smile, hug? Say thank you, not talk too much, eat foods they don't like, let others go first, tolerate teasing that doesn't feel good, stay quiet when they feel uncomfortable. For some kids, be polite becomes a confusing bundle of invisible expectations. So instead of saying be polite, we want to translate the expectation into concrete, doable steps. At grandma's, you need to say hello. You do not have to hug. When someone gives you a gift, you can say thank you. You do not have to make a big speech. If you don't like the food, you can say no, thank you. If someone asks about school, you can answer one question and then take a break. If you need space, you can tell me quietly. All of those are much more useful. And it protects the child's boundaries because sometimes adults accidentally confuse politeness with compliance. A child can be respectful and still not hug. A child can be kind and still need a break. A child can be appreciative and still not perform delight on command. A child can be social and still not want to play with everyone. Which brings us to another parent script. You don't have to play with everyone. Let's look for one good connection. And that is a relief to many kids. Social events feel overwhelming when the goal seems to be liked by the whole room. That's too much pressure. One good connection is a better goal. One child to build with, one cousin to sit next to, one adult who understands, one game that feels good, one moment of shared laughter, one successful repair, one time they asked for a break, one moment where they felt like themselves. All of that is real progress. Now, let's talk about preparing for different kinds of social situations. For birthday parties, we want to prepare for structure, noise, food, games, and the ending. Who's going to be there? What kind of party is it? Is there going to be music? Will there be singing? How long are we going to stay? What can we do if it gets too loud? For play dates, we need to prepare for sharing space, choosing activities, taking turns, and handling disagreement. What are two activities your child would be willing to play? What toys are off limits for sharing? What can you say if you need a break? What happens if you both want different games? For family gatherings, we need to prepare for greetings, questions, sensory overload, and boundaries. Who's going to be there? Who might want a hug? What can you say instead? Where can you go for quiet? How long will we be there? For school events, we want to prepare for crowds, waiting, unclear expectations, and lots of transitions. Where will we meet? What's going to happen first? Do you have to perform or participate? Where can you sit? How will you know when it's over? For camps and clubs, we need to prepare for the routine, the adults in charge, the group expectations, and the social entry points. What will the day look like? Who can you ask for help? What are the rules? What is your role? How can you join an activity? The details are going to vary, but the structure is the same. Help the child understand the setting, clarify the expectations, identify supports, create a break plan, practice a couple of scripts, and afterwards, debrief gently. That brings us to the rose thorn weird moment debrief. I love this because it keeps reflection from turning into a formal investigation. After a social event, instead of launching into, did you have fun? Who did you play with? Did you say thank you? Why didn't you talk to Ben? What happened when you were hiding behind the couch? We want to try to keep it simple. The rose, what was one good part? The thorn is what was one hard part. And a weird moment, what was one thing that felt confusing, unexpected, awkward, or just odd? The weird moment is important because social situations are always filled with weird moments. Someone changes the rules. Someone makes a joke that you don't understand. Someone says, just kidding, after being really mean. Someone wants to play but also seems annoyed. Someone's younger sibling licks a cupcake and puts it back. The weird moment category gives kids a way to talk about confusion without feeling like they failed. You might say, what was your rose, thorn, and weird moment? Or if your child doesn't like that language, what was good, hard, or confusing? The goal is never to force a deep emotional processing session in the car while everyone is sticky and tired. The goal is to gather information. What helped? What was hard? What do we want to try to remember next time? And sometimes your child might say, I don't know, and that is fine. You can offer your own gentle observation. My rose was seeing you build with Sam. My thorn was how loud it got during the game. My weird moment was when everyone started yelling different rules at once. That confused me. This models reflection without pressure. Now, let's talk about the parental reflection for today. Am I preparing my child for connection or am I preparing them to look socially typical? That question might sting a little, but it is a loving question because many parents are under enormous pressure. You might worry that your child is going to be judged. You might worry that they feel excluded. You may worry relatives are going to misunderstand them. You may worry that teachers, coaches, or other parents will see only the behavior and miss the child. So it makes sense that sometimes we prepare kids to look okay from the outside. Say the right thing, smile, join in, don't talk too much, don't hide, don't correct people, don't be too intense. Don't be too quiet. Don't be too you. But connection does not come from disappearing into an acceptable version of yourself. Connection comes from being known and accepted with enough safety, skill, and mutual respect. So, when we prepare socially, let's ask, what does my child need in order to feel safer here? What kind of connection is actually realistic? What expectations are necessary? And which ones are just about appearances? Where can my child have agency? How can I support repair instead of shame? How can I help my child leave with more self understanding, not less? Because the goal is not a flawless social performance. The goal is for your child to leave with a little more confidence, a little more self understanding, and maybe one moment of real connection. So, as you are preparing for your next play date, party, family gathering, school event, club, group, camp, we want to remember to create a social preview talking about who's going to be there, what will happen, and how long it will last. We want to plan for sensory needs, giving your child a role, practicing one or two useful scripts, set up a break plan, debrief gently afterwards with something like rose thorn weird moment. And use scripts that lower pressure while supporting connection. You don't have to play with everyone. Let's look for one good connection. If you need a break, you can use our signal. Awkward moments happen. We can repair them. When we prepare kids socially, we are not trying to make them less neurodivergent. We are helping them feel less alone in social situations that can be loud, confusing, unpredictable, and full of invisible rules. We are giving them tools without asking them to trade away themselves. And that is the kind of preparation that supports real belonging. Thank you so much for being with me today, and I will see you soon.